Hello, welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. Today's sewing tutorial, I'm going to show you how to cut and sew a goddess skirt. I was actually making this video when I found out that the dress is trending online and I was making mine a skirt. So I'm going to show you how to make this either a goddess skirt or a goddess dress, and I'm going to show you how to make it either you want to adapt it into a pencil skirt, a gathered skirt, or a flared skirt. Any skirt or dress you want to adapt it to, you can easily adapt it to it. If this is what you would like to learn, make sure not to skip any part of this video. If this is your first time coming across my channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notification bell icon so that you don't miss any of my sewing tutorials. To my returning subscribers, thank you guys for always coming back to watch my videos. Drop your likes, drop comments, I appreciate a whole lot. And to those of you that share my videos out, God bless you. So for today's sewing tutorial, let's get to the cutting table.
So I'll be using a basic skirt block to make this, but if you're making it for a dress, you have to cut from the waistline down to the length of the skirt, anyhow you want it to be, how long you want it to be. Just extend it from the waist down to the length where you want it to be. In case, I'm going to be dropping the pattern for this block. So first thing I'm going to do is to close all the darts. I'm going to close the side seam darts. As you can see how I have closed the side seam darts like this. We're going to make a flare skirt first before we'll go ahead and make the Godet skirt. So close all the darts. This is the dart, the front dart. That is what I'm trying to close. And when you're tracing out your skirt, make sure you trace out on the pattern paper the length of the skirt you're using. Assuming you want the length of the skirt to be 40 inches, make sure from the waist down to the hemline is 40 inches on your pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and close all the darts. All you need to do is just extend the dart leg. You extend it down to the hem, cut it open and close all the darts. If you're working with a basic bodice block, you know most times it comes with one dart. So just close only that one dart. Close it up and it will give you a flared skirt, and then you're going to work from there. For me, this basic skirt block has 2 darts at the back, so I'm trying to close all the darts. This will make me have a nice and A-line kind of shape. So after closing all the darts, you're going to have one piece. You're not going to have front and back. The skirt is going to be just one piece. So this is the center front and this is the center back. The center front is going to be on fold. Next is to make the design of the godet. For me to do that, I'm going to come down from the hip line. This line is the hip line. Come down from the hip line like 5 to 7 inches to make the design of the godet. Or you can decide to come down from the waistline 13 to 15 inches to make the design, to mark the design of the godet. This line I'm marking here is going to help me to make the design of the godet. So on this line that I'm marking, you will decide how many panels you want for your godet. If you want it to be 3, 4, 5, whatever, on this line you're going to divide this line by how many pieces of godet you want, and also divide the same thing on the hemline. So if you're making the godet to be 5 pieces, you're going to divide whatever this line, you're going to divide it by 5 and mark it here, and also on the hemline you divide it by 5 and mark it here. That way you will get the shape of the godet you want. This is because I'm making this for a flare skirt. So I'm going to draw the shape of the godet. like this. And then this is going to be the pattern I will use to mark out all the Godet pieces. So I'm going to trace this out and use it to make other designs of the scallop. After marking out the design of the scallops, just this one piece of design of the Godet is what I'm going to use for the rest of it. So this is it after marking it out. As you can see, I'll go ahead and cut off the scallop, this shape of the scallop, and we're going to work on the Godet pieces later. As you can see, this represents all the pieces of the Godet. So I'm setting this aside and we are going to work on the Godet. We're going to make a slash and spread here because this piece is going to be a flared type of Godet. So make any pieces, any lines you want for the slash and spread, and we slash and spread this. Remember, this is the hip line. This line is very, very important, so make sure you highlight it so that you don't forget where the hip line is. This skirt is very, very, very simple, guys, but as you're watching it, it might look tedious, but it's very, very simple to make. So I'm going to use this to make a flare. You can actually make a design like this, leave it like this without adding any other thing. You can have it as a flare like that. So I'll go ahead and cut out this on my fabric. And for this other piece, I'm going to use it to cut out gathers. So you're going to lay your fabric, how many pieces of the Godet you're making, then you're going to place this and cut it out. So you're going to go ahead and cut out 1.5 yard for each piece. You're going to spread this on 1.5 yards. I hope you understand what I mean. So each panel is going to be like 55 inches, so that when you gather it, it will gather enough. It will be gathered enough to give you the fullness you need for the flare, for the gathers. So you see how I have cut out, spread this out and cutting it out. I'll go ahead and pick one piece, just one piece, and gather it on each panel of the flared pattern that we have made. So I'll just pick one like this, gather it. I go to my machine and gather it, and I'm going to place it on the other flare that we have made. I've gone ahead and cut this out and added 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So you're going to gather this and place it on it like the lining for the gathers. So place it on it like this. Yes. So this is the scallops, the upper side of the Ankara skirt. I have cut out the scallop and added 1/2 inch. Make sure you notch the scallops so that it will be easier for you to sew this when you get to your machine. Notice that I have not added any lining for this. I have not added any lining. I just cut out the fabric on African print, and then I'm going to go to my machine now and sew in all the Godet pieces into the scallops. So first of all, I'm going to sew 2 pieces. So this is 2 pieces that I have sewn. You see, they are separate like this. So you're going to turn it the other way, pick the 4 pieces and sew them close. Trust me, this is the best way to sew this. So I'm going to go ahead and sew all the pieces and close them up. This is it after sewing all of them, and I have closed them up. You can see how everything is nicely placed. You can't see where I have sewn together. Can you see? You can't see them. As long as they are gathered enough, you will not see it. And the hemline is equal. You don't need to cut anything. When I turn it over like this, this is how it's going to look. Very neat. So we are going to line this, but you're going to line this with another tool that we have gathered. Can you see? This is going to give this the fullness you need and close up all the raw edges. So you're going to measure from the waistline down to the length of the skirt. With this way, your skirt and the two part of the skirt will be covered and it will look very, very full. As you can see how neatly it is. If you still want to line this with another fabric, you can use the pattern we made for the flare to cut out a lining. So you can use this one that we have made a flare, use it to cut out lining and line it, but you don't necessarily need to line it again after adding all these layers of tulle. So guys, you can make this and add it to your skirt, or you can add it to your dress, and your dress will look very, very neat. So guys, we have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. If you find anything helpful or you learned any new thing today, let me know in the comment section, and also let me know where you're watching me from. And guys, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.